From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, July the 10th, 2025. An IDF soldier was killed last night in Gaza. He is 25-year-old Master Sergeant in Reserve Avraham Azulai. The IDF said that during IDF operational activity in Khan Yunis, terrorists came out of an underground tunnel and attacked Israeli troops. During the attack, the terrorists attempted to abduct Azulai, who served as an engineering vehicle operator. He fought the terrorists, and they shot and killed him. The terrorists then tried to kidnap Azulai's body to Gaza, but the IDF said Israeli security forces operating in the area opened fire toward the terrorists, hitting several of them and thwarting the abduction. And an Israeli security guard was killed in a terror attack this morning outside a supermarket in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank. He was later named by Israeli media as Shalev Zvuluni. The IDF said that 2 terrorists arrived at the Gush Etzion junction and carried out a combined attack involving shooting and stabbing. IDF forces and additional security personnel present, it said, at the scene, fired at the terrorists and neutralized them. IDF forces are conducting blockades in the area. Earlier today, the IDF said that during operational activity in the village of Rumana, also in the West Bank, a terrorist stabbed an IDF soldier, injuring him moderately. The terrorist was neutralized by other forces at the scene. The soldier evacuated for medical treatment. Well, red alert sirens sounded across central Israel in the middle of the night last night after a missile was fired by the Houthis in Yemen, sending residents of many areas to safe rooms and bomb shelters. The missile was intercepted and no damage or injury was reported. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with families of hostages still being held by terror group Hamas in Gaza. The Prime Minister's office saying that during the meeting, the Prime Minister noted that the issue of the hostages was discussed extensively during Netanyahu's meetings with President Trump and his team, and said that great efforts are made continuously to bring about the release of all of our hostages, both the living and the deceased. 50 hostages remain held captive by terror group Hamas in Gaza now for 643 days. And the Prime Minister today attended a memorial service for Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lashinsky, held at the Israeli Embassy in Washington. Milgram and Lashinsky were on staff at the embassy and were soon to be engaged when they were murdered outside the Capitol Museum in Washington after attending a Jewish event this past May. Prime Minister unveiled a memorial plaque with a photograph of the two at the ceremony and hung a new mezuzah. Well, turning now to Poland and an uproar over new plaques that were placed near a monument for the Yad Vashem massacre of Jews by their Polish neighbors during the Holocaust. The new plaques questioning those facts, claiming instead that the crime was committed by a German pacification unit. Yad Vashem, Israel's memorial to the Holocaust, wrote that it is profoundly shocked and deeply concerned by the desecration of historical truth and memory at the site in, it said, an apparent attempt to distort the story of the massacre of Jews, saying that on the 10th of July of 1941, amid the German offensive and the occupation of eastern Poland, local residents from Yad Vashem and the surrounding area took part in the brutal murder of hundreds of their Jewish neighbors. According to Yad Vashem, over 1,000 Jews were herded into the market square, forced into a barn, and burned alive. A handful escaped. This horrific crime, Yad Vashem said, has been thoroughly documented through decades of rigorous historical research and numerous survivor and eyewitness testimonies. Attempts to deny or misrepresent these events are not only a blatant falsification of history and an effort to absolve the perpetrators, but also a profound affront to the victims and a dangerous erosion of Poland's historical and moral responsibility. Yad Vashem calls on the relevant Polish authorities to remove this offensive installation and to ensure that the historical meaning of the site is preserved and respected. Only by acknowledging and commemorating the darkest chapters of the past can we hope to prevent such atrocities from ever happening again. The Yad Vashem massacre took place on this date 84 years ago. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Thursday, July the 10th. At 7 o'clock, a look at Jewish life in Iran and shifting Israeli-Iranian relations and more. At 8, Jonah Platt speaks with Australian TV presenter and outspoken advocate for Israel Erin Molan. At 9, Kasim Hafeez is on L'chaim. At 10, David Harris speaks with author and former Knesset member Einat Wilf. At 10:30, an encore of the news, and coming up next, Eric Goldman speaks with Guy Nattiv and Amir about their film Tatami. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, July the 10th, 2025. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.